trust me, I understand the unemployment after graduation. 2 times it happened, you know what I'm saying? Undergrad and grad school But for me. But tell me about where did you go to grad school, bro?
So I was fortunate enough, and never in a million years would I ever thought I'd get in, but I ended up going to the Harvard Graduate School of Education and got my master's degree in higher ed. I was very blessed that, and I also earned it, man. Like I put in the work. I think oftentimes I shy away from the praise because it's not the way I'm wired. But
Hmm.
man, I was going to this boba spot every single day, pretty much for 6 months, working on my statements, working on my CV, doing edits, doing feedback, going back and forth with people, talking to students, talking to professors. Like I knew what I wanted, and I was a man on a mission. I was able to put in the work. So I had options, and Harvard I didn't think was going to be one of them. And once it came to that, man, it was really hard to say no.
But you shot that shot, man, and I appreciate you. I know you humble dude, but what you just did was talk about process, man, and that's what I'm big on right now. Is just telling people, yeah, we shoot our shots, but there's a process in that, right? And if I give everything I have, or I'm honest to the process, I let the chips fall where they're made, man. So I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Um, so here, yet another change, going from the west to the east. But this time sounds like you have different tools, better prepared. Was there anything that jumped out to you, or were you just on that mission and you was just like, send them in, I'm gonna knock them out. I ain't scared of nothing.
And I'll tell you what, I think you mentioned legacy, and that to me was like me going to Harvard. It was like honoring my folks. You know what I'm saying? My parents are like, they don't have a formal education. They're immigrants from Jalisco, Mexico. Um, but they're one of the smartest people I ever known in my life. Right. And that always to me was like, damn, they came to this country and sacrificed everything and continue to sacrifice everything for me and my siblings for us to get a shot at education. And Harvard was one of the few schools that they knew of in their small little town. Right. So for one of their children to kind of go beyond the college dream, beyond a bachelor's, and write a chapter that wasn't supposed to be written at an institution that they actually recognize. It was like, speaking of legacy, that goes full circle. Like that goes beyond me, right? Um, but now going to Harvard, man, it was two things. One, it was a battle between appreciating being there and recognizing I'm worthy of being there.
Hmm.
And another where it was like it was constantly just doing and very little processing. Because Harvard's program was 9 months. It was just August, you graduated in May. So it was like
Accelerated.
drinking from accelerated to the max, man. And it was like drinking from a very privileged fire hose. So I was over here drinking water. I didn't know how it tasted like first time in my life, but it was just overwhelming, man. I kid you not. I think one week Kyrie Irving was coming to speak, Malala was gonna come to speak, the
Wow.
mayor of Puerto Rico, the president of Colombia, like the people, the guest speakers who come to Harvard are just like ridiculous. The lineup is ridiculous, and the lineup is different every week and every month. So I remember teachers being like, "Oh yeah, if you have the opportunity to go to the Kennedy School, go to this school, sign up for this. And by the way, read this book by next week." And I'm like, "Bro, how do you expect us to do both?" Like, what I'm saying? Like, I can't read and listen at the same time. But all that being said, man, it was a difficult transition for sure. I'm a California kid, born and raised, never seen snow in my life. I don't like snow. So living through a New England winter is a little different. You know what I'm saying? Winter coats are not the same in Cali than they are in the East
Word,
Coast.
word.
Your shoes are different. The style is different. Like at some point, man, I didn't give anything about style. I was like, I just want to be warm and not like, you know what I'm saying? Like all that
Why do
being
people
said,
do this?
yeah. But all that being said, it was like it was a growth. It was a calculated risk for growth. Me putting myself in uncomfortable positions in very wealthy institutions that I don't feel wanted or welcomed, and really try to make it my own. And I think the first semester was really just, oh my God, I'm here. Oh my God, this is professor. Like yada yada yada. And then halfway through, I was like, you know what? Like, yes, it's one thing to appreciate where you're at, but it's another thing to also ask the institution for what you need. And I feel like I was just okay with scraps because I was just appreciative to be there. And I'm like, nah. At some point, you also got to recognize what you bring to the space. So at that point, I
Hmm.
recognized like, yo, I'm bringing capital to y'all. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us, a lot of black and brown folk, students of color there, were bringing capital to them, and they would have been brilliant whether they went to Harvard or not. It's like
Speak it.
Harvard is making like money off of us rather than the other way around.
Speak it.
Yeah, man. So that's kind of my dual experience was like just transitioning from appreciation to really demanding things that I needed. And just there's still things that I'm like, yo, that came up in that one class, or that came up in that one conversation with this one professor like 2 years later. So it's like they definitely planted a lot of seeds, but they just didn't. It's hard to like plant a seed and see it grow in 9 months. Like you gotta be
Word.
patient and see it. Like,
Word. That's. I heard of accelerated nursing. I didn't hear of no 9-month programs, man. But thanks for the inside tip on Harvard, y'all. All right, so y'all know if y'all planning on going to Harvard, get your speed reading up. You feel me?
for real. Or get like a group of people to read one chapter and you read another and you share you something, man. Whatever works for y'all, you could. Yeah. That was a whole another level.